السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مساء الخير جميعا، أهلا بكم في هذه الحلقة الاستثنائية من برنامج نيوكاسل مع وليد. Welcome everyone. Today we have a special show for the European final, and we have from Manchester City, and he lives in Newcastle, Mr. Jammie Mackay. He's the coach of Rickenton No Camp under 16 age. He's the coach there, and we are happy to have him tonight for the second time. Welcome, Jammie.
Thank you very much, mate. Always good to see you again, and thank you very much for inviting me on to talk a little bit of European finals. We'll have some good conversation for everybody.
Thank you for joining us. So it's a lot of things going on. We get lucky and host you 2 days ago with Steve Wraith. It's a recommended show for everyone to see if you want to catch up with what's going on with Newcastle from all perspective of view. Tonight it's special because we are going to talk about European final, and especially the team, the original team of Jimmy, Manchester United as well. First topic, we have your squad. We just know the news about the players who will be in England squad. Your comment about that, your take on that, Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm a bit by a couple of them, to be honest with you. The goalkeeping situation doesn't make much sense to me, although I do like Sam Johnson. He used to play for Man United. He was a really good goalkeeper, but he just sort of was at the club at a wrong time, really, when De Gea and that was coming through. But he's a good goalkeeper. I don't begrudge him being in there. He's a solid goalkeeper. But Aaron Ramsdale doesn't really make sense to me. I don't understand why Tom Pope's not there. Really good goalkeeper from Burnley. Been consistent for a lot of years now under Sean Dyche. I really rate him. I'm not Pickford's biggest fan, but he seems to get the nod with Gareth Southgate going forward for England. So there must be something there. I've watched him for Everton. I've celebrated when Newcastle scored against him at St James's Park as well. They always give Pickford a little bit of stick with him being from Sunderland, but I like Pope personally. I'm a bit gutted that Wan-Bissaka the team. I don't understand why he's not in the team. Trippier and Walker are in the squad. I think Wan-Bissaka is a better defender than them, and I know we have a very good right back already. Liverpool's right back, Trent, fantastic player, but he's not great defensively. And against the better teams, the Germanys, the Frances, in the later part of the competition, I feel like England are going to have to be solid defensively. And I think Bissaka is the best right back defensively in England. Some people might disagree with me, but I've watched him all season long and he's really impressed me. His attacking side of the game is getting better as well. So he's turning into a really quality addition to our team. The defence is, I'm quite happy with that. Good to see Ben Godfrey in there. I think he's a good player. Tyrone Mings again, Harry Maguire if he's fit, which I'm sure we'll get onto soon. The midfield's got a bit of quality in there. It's nice to see players like James Ward-Prowse in there. Lingard, who's done very well, obviously done really well on loan at West Ham. And then the striking options looks absolutely fine to me. Is Danny Ings in there? Waleed, sorry. Can you just pop that up for me?
I don't remember. I saw his name.
No, he's not, is he? Ollie Watkins in there, but not. That's interesting. Mason Greenwood's in there, and Phil Foden, Jack Grealish. We're all right in there.
For the forward player, what do you think of Watkins? Watkins, he deserved to be there.
I do rate Ollie Watkins. I think he's had a really good season in a very decent Villa team, but I would have probably took Danny Ings. I think Danny Ings is a better finisher than him, but they've got finishers there, you know. Harry Kane obviously being the main one, which we might talk about in the show as well, I'm sure.
What about
Mason Greenwood? Bamford.
Do you think he should be instead of
Patrick Bamford? Yeah, there's probably that's another shout. Waleed, good shout there as well. Yeah, they could have. I mean, there's not much between them, is there? Bamford's definitely the better finisher of the two. But I don't know. He's obviously went with that team because he thinks that's the best team to try and progress in the competition, and I'll be supporting them no matter who's in the squad. But it's just bit strange not to see like James Maddison after what Leicester have done this season. He hasn't had a standout season, don't get me wrong, but I do think it's a bit strange that he's not in there, especially with his creativity. But there's a lot of creative players in that squad, so it's coming home, innit? Anyway, it doesn't matter who plays, it's coming home.
Yeah, hopefully, inshallah, hopefully it will come and come. What about Willick? Do you think he deserves a spot there?
How many Newcastle fans are watching? What do I say here?
Everyone.
Nah, I don't think so. Not for me. Not when you've got. I suppose there's an argument if you're going to take Ward-Prowse, are you going to take Willock? I don't know, but Jude Bellingham, but not for me, mate. I think he's been fantastic at Newcastle this season. He's been a breath of fresh air since he's come up on loan. I'm sure you're a big admirer of him for what he's done for the team, and he's finished a fantastic season.
He took the team from 17 to 12.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, it's phenomenal. Like, I just like to point out as well, I did say in the Matters group that yous would stay up when everyone was saying they were getting relegated, so I'll put that one out there. I knew yous were going to turn up, but Willock's been a fantastic player. Should Wilson be in the team? Maybe, I don't know. But he's went with the team that he thinks best. You can always say he should be in there for him and him for him, but that's the team that Gareth thinks is the best team, so we've just got to roll with it and hope. But not for me, Willock, but absolutely fantastic. And if we can get back up, I'll definitely be in St James's Park watching him because he's a fantastic player. And
I'm with you, Wan-Bissaka. It's really
it's criminal. It's absolutely criminal, وليد, honestly. Like he's been consistently the best right back in the country defensively. I'm not saying he's a better player than Trent Alexander-Arnold because he isn't, but defensively he definitely is a better player than Trent. And I just don't understand when you've got like Kyle Walker. He didn't have a very good tournament for England last time. I don't think he was great in the qualifiers. He hasn't been playing for Man City either. Like Cancelo's been playing at right back for Manchester City, so it's like I don't really understand it. Trippier's won the league in Spain, so okay, Trippier's a decent player. He's not very good defensively. That's why Tottenham sold him. You know, Jose don't get rid of good defensive-minded players, and they sold Trippier. So it's I don't know. Maybe Jose was wrong to do that. I don't know. He didn't do very well at Tottenham, but no, it's just it doesn't make sense to me. I've watched Wan-Bissaka all season, and the one problem with him was he doesn't offer a lot going forward, as in when he passes the halfway line. But he's improved that aspect of his game. So it's a bit disappointing, and I do feel for him because I feel like he's had a really good season. And players are in that squad that haven't had that good of a season, but are just there on merit. So, thank you very much. It's just one of them. He's got to go with what he feels is the best team. And Trippier and Kyle Walker have the experience over Bissaka, but defensively, they ain't better than him. They're just not better than him. But you've got to have a little mix of everything, I suppose. And like I've said, what do I know? I'm just sitting in Newcastle talking about it. Gareth's got to pick the team properly, you know. So my girlfriend's just bought me a nice cup of tea, which was nice of her.
And let's put in mind some players, they will be off. I think 6 players, or I believe it will come to 26 in total. So
who do I think they'll be?
Yeah, so they will taking some player out. So even
I wouldn't be taking 4 goalkeepers for a start. I think Ramsdale will probably drop out. He hasn't had a very good season for Sheffield United. He hasn't had that bad of a season in context, but they have. They're obviously getting relegated. They're bottom of the league. So I think he'll drop out. He'll have to drop a defender. There's a lot of defenders there. Will he take Ben White? I don't know. Maybe he'll be another player that goes. Maybe Watkins won't make the final team. It's gonna be very interesting. I was hoping the team was going to be released today, but this is obviously the provisional team. I think Chris popped it out there, didn't he? And I was having a little look at it on my break at work, seeing who was the provisional team. But he's got some big decisions to make. Let's just hope he gets them right, mate, and we're ready to go. I cannot wait to watch England. To be honest with you, I'm hoping maybe Steve's going to be putting on some nice events like he usually does for the England games. I'm definitely going to get in contact with him if he's got anything going. But with COVID, I don't really know what the situation is. But we'll give Mr. Rafe a little message and see if he's doing anything. But I'm just looking forward to watching them, to be honest with you. I'm like hunting around to get my England top ready for when the games are on and stuff like that. So, but there's bigger fish to fry tomorrow first before England.
Very cool. Just let's comment on England squad. Henderson, is it surprised he's there and he was off most of the season? Henderson.
Is it a surprise he's there? Not for me. I think he should be England's number one. I mentioned earlier, I don't really rate Pickford. I think he's got a mistake in him. He's done okay for England, but for me, I think Henderson's a better goalkeeper, and that's not
No. I'm sorry. I mean the Liverpool player in the midfield.
Oh, I thought you were on about the goalkeeper. Sorry. No, I don't think so. You know, I don't like Liverpool, وليد, but I do rate Jordan Henderson. I think he brings a spitefulness to the midfield. He's good on the ball, yeah, and he's a calm head. He's played at a very high level for a long time in a very good Liverpool team. So I feel like if he's fit, I don't know what his current situation is because I tend not to pay too much attention to them. But if he's fit, he has to go. Yeah, he has to go. He's been fantastic for Liverpool. If you look at what he's achieved at Liverpool since he's went from Sunderland to Liverpool, he's become a very good player, and I feel like we need them characters in the squad to then progress. So yeah, I definitely think him beside the Declan Rice makes sense in a tough game against the France where you need to be a little bit more solid. So yeah, I think if he's fit, I'd take him. Yeah.
Very cool. So now let's move to your city, and if you can tell us, take a deep breath.
Yeah, I'm nervous about it, mate.
Give us last update for Glazer out. Everybody's saying Glazer out. This scenes, we want to know more about it since you are from there and you know what's really going on. How you sum up all of this?
We haven't liked them for years, mate. We didn't want them in charge when they first come. They bought the club on debt. They have paid. They bought the club with £800 million worth of debt, and they've only paid £200 million off of it in 16 years. So it's a mess from top to bottom. The whole structure of the club since they took over, since Sir Alex has gone to the dogs. They've done no work on Old Trafford at all. It's so rusty and it's embarrassing. I know Newcastle fans were complaining at St James's Park a year or so ago, but it's all painted nice and all of that. Old Trafford looks rusty. It's a mess. The toilets are bogging in there. All the poles and all that hold all the stadium up, they're all rusty. There's holes in the roof in the stadium where the water pours down when it rains too much on games. In my opinion, people might disagree that watch this because they might not support Man U. We're the biggest club in the country, you know, and we shouldn't have that. We've got to be a standard setter. And they've come in, they've pumped a lot of money. I've spoke to Steve before about this, actually. They've pumped a lot of money in, but they went to buy big names, Owly, to sell shirts, not necessarily players that fitted into the squad, which I do feel like we're getting better at now Ollie's here. And the fans didn't like them for years because consistently they've not backed managers. They give Van Gaal to work with. He brought players in. We needed better players the next season. They got rid of him. Jose finished second with a Manchester United team that lacked a lot of quality. They didn't back him in the summer. They ended up sacking him. And they seem to be being quite loyal towards Ollie, but purely for the fact of, for a lot of the time, is Ollie's a yes man and he'll do what he's told. He's like Bruce. So if they tell him he's only getting £35 million for a transfer budget, Ollie will be like, yep, no problem, boss. That's fine, boss. You know. Whereas Jose was like, no, you're joking. Like, that's not going to work. Like, we've got to compete with Manchester City, Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea, and you want to give me that money. And Man United's net spend in the past couple of seasons has been £35 million for Manchester United. Like, I know you're Newcastle based, our lead, and I don't mean to come across as rude, but that's a Newcastle transfer budget. You know, Newcastle probably don't even get that, but that's what Newcastle should be spending. upwards of 35 to 50 million pound. I know Ashley doesn't allow that, but we should be in the market for the best players, the top players at the top for the top money. And if you want to progress as a football team and be the best team in England again, you're going to have to spend the money. That's the way football's going. And they've consistently spent it wrong. I could do a whole show on this, mate. Honestly, I could do a whole show. But the nail in the coffin for them was the Super League. And that was just a complete self-sabotage of the club, mate. That was dragging the club through the dirt. And they didn't care what situation it was going to put the fan base in. They didn't care about the history. It was just like taking everything we've ever stood for as fans and just dragging it through the mud and thinking, and sorry for my language, Owly, but like, we don't give a shit about your history. We want to make money. We've got a brand here. Manchester United is not a brand. Club. It's a club that I support, you know? It's a club that's been built on foundations of the Busby Babes, people that died playing for Manchester United on that plane crash. People like that, and it's just, you just forget that. Sir Alex Ferguson, David Gill's work over the years, Sir Matt Busby with his players, Ron Atkinson, all these managers in the past that have built it up to the point where it's got to the biggest club in the world, and they've just come in and done no work at all and just thought, right, I'll have that because that's going to make me a lot of money. And then when they tried to put this stupid Super League in place, they were willing to drop out of English club competitions like the League Cup and the FA Cup, what traditionally in English football is absolutely massive for the fans. And they were just willing to get rid of that so we can go and play Real Madrid on a Tuesday night just to make a couple of quid in a league that was not an open and shut league of relegation. It was, you're the big fish in the big pond, so you can have all the money. And for me, I was absolutely disgusted with it. You probably seen my tweets. Like, I went in on them big style, and so did the whole fan base. And to be honest, it's going to get worse, mate. I've got my green and gold shirt on because this is green and gold for Newton Heath. What Man United started before we become Man United, we were Newton Heath, and we played in green and yellow. So you probably see all the scarves. And it just meant absolutely nothing to them, mate. They were only in it for a pound note, and we finally found the real issue at the club. And I don't like to use this word, but they are a cancer to the football team. Like, they literally are a cancer, and they don't care about the fans. They don't care about nothing. And then he sets the Super League up, gets all the teams involved. And the hardest thing for me, Owly, as a Man United fan, it was our owners that were trying to set the league up. We set up the idea. So for Man United fans, we were embarrassed, you know, and we're proud fans. We're proud supporters, and enough is enough. Probably spoke too much about this issue, but I could do the whole show about these people. Trust me, they are parasites. And the bigger and better the protests get, the better, because we want them out. Just like you want Ashley out, and I'm pro Ashley out as well. Get the Glazers out of our club. Get them out, because they're wrong uns, and I'll leave it at that because I'm gonna rant if I keep going.
What about Edward? Did he leave yet or no?
Owly, when I got the news that he was leaving, I was jumping around my living room, mate. You can ask my girlfriend, honestly. I was jumping around because he's part of the problem as well. He's pro profit and not club, and they're not interested in the football side of things. They've proved it year after year after year with lack of investment for managers and stuff, and they have spent money. I'm not saying they haven't. They have spent money, but it's always been with the ideology of selling shirts, not the player on the pitch. Di Maria, for example, he didn't want to come to the club. He made it categorically honest. He didn't want to come to Man United, yet they paid the money for him, and he left 6 months after. So there's no longevity, but there's a million things, like the Sanchez deal, stuff like that, stupid investing money in the wrong places. And they've got an opportunity to get it right this summer, but I still feel they'll go all out for Harry Kane because he sells shirts. And they wrote us a lovely little letter to all the fans telling us that they were on our side and they want us to understand their point of view and they want to build relationships with the fans. Forget it. You've had 16 years to build relationships and we've never heard from you, so don't expect us to listen now.
To believe that, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jimmy, before we go to the game tomorrow, Yeah, it's a very excited game. I'm really looking forward for it. Just I will show you one photo. I just want your opinion. What was the Sir Ferguson doing in this photo, if you remember?
What was he doing?
Did you see it before?
No, I haven't seen. I know he's gone to Gdansk with the team.
It's been said that I'm not sure, but it's been said that Sir Alex went to talk to Pochettino before play in Paris Saint-Germain hotel in Manchester City before they play the team.
I'm not too sure whether maybe I don't know. Maybe, yeah, possibly. I think there was a period of time where they were looking to move Ollie out when we were struggling a little bit. Pochettino was available. He was talked about, but well, nothing come of it anyway. But obviously he's doing really well in Paris in the league, so. Maybe it was a good choice that we stayed with Ollie, but I do really like Pochettino. In all seriousness, he's a fantastic manager.
Cool. So, tomorrow game. So, of course,
big game.
You're excited.
I'm
Jammie,
nervous,
right?
mate. I'm really nervous about it. Yeah.
I was trying to find the expected lineup. I came up with this. I don't know, some newspaper expected. What your expectation, and how did you see this? How did you see this this lineup? What you want to change in it?
I'll tell you the exact lineup, mate. The goalkeeper will be and the defense will be the same. Pogba will play where Rashford is. Rashford will play where Greenwood is, and Fred will play where Pogba is. That will be the team.
I think this is the issue with Pogba. He doesn't know. He will play him defensive midfielder, or will he play in the right side?
He should play where you've put him. He should play there, but he won't. He'll play on the left because he can't leave Fred and McTominay out, unfortunately, which makes no sense to me or the rest of the Man United fans, because Fred plays like Fred Flintstone sometimes, and I don't understand why he keeps consisting with them. But when Maguire's in the team, he still plays Fred and McTominay because he likes that double pivot in front of them, because Maguire and Lindelof lack pace. Bailey has pace, so maybe he'll be brave enough to go Pogba, but I don't see it. I'll be amazed if Pogba starts as one of them double pivots. But that team you've got would be the team that I would go with.
It's been said that maybe Maguire will not play. So, what do you know about that? And if you can answer this question.
Yeah, Maguire. The squad was getting used to the pitch today. There were some images going their training schedule, and the players warming up and doing like ball work and that. And Maguire was sitting in the stands, which tells me he's not going to be playing. So whatever injury he has picked up, the club have been a little bit quiet on it because I feel like they were trying to wait and see whether he does make it. But he isn't going to make it, I don't think. Me personally, I would go for Tuanzebe next to Lindelof, but he won't. He'll go with Bailey.
Okay, well, why you want Tuanzebe?
He's more assured on the ball, mate. He's a more calming influence in the defence, whereas Bailey is a little bit crazy sometimes. He loves a challenge. He can kick someone on the edge of the area and give away a stupid free kick.
Fatal mistakes sometimes.
Yeah, stupid mistakes. But Bailey's a really good defender, but he's just got a mistake in him. And the problem with the centre-back pairing you've got on the screen, mate, is Bailey can only play on the right centre-back. So it would be switched from what we've got on the screen. And Lindelof's right-footed and he's not comfortable receiving the ball in the left. So that brings another issue to it. But it doesn't matter who we play. We should have enough to beat Villarreal. Don't get me wrong, but you never know.
Which player are you counting him tomorrow?
Which player am I counting on? Eddie Cavani up front. My favourite player, mate.
Very cool.
Big
so
Edison.
we know about Manchester yani too much. Let's take a scoop a little bit about Villarreal. Of course, now let's see the last result of Villarreal. He lose against Celta Vigo in 9 May. وليد Walid also he win. Villarreal win 2-0. Win over Sevilla by 4-0. Real Madrid tough game 2-1. So and we get the game tomorrow. The game against that was the game I think against Real Madrid. I think this this one was against Sevilla, the one they win 4-0. This is the lineup. So Bacca scored 3 goals. So what do you think? Is that same Bacca? He played with AC Milan a little longer.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and he also played against Seville. He scored against Man United actually before. So he's a pretty dangerous little striker. He's probably past his best now, to be honest with you. But they've got some really good players. I'll try and go through their squad a little bit. I don't know too much about Villarreal, but I'm pretty knowledgeable on Spanish football, so I feel like I can probably chat a little bit about them. Rulli is a really good goalkeeper, Argentinian boy. I really rate him. He's on loan from Sociedad. Gaspar, quite an old defender, but pretty decent defender. Raul Albiol's obviously played for Real Madrid at the top level. He's a quality centre back. He's getting on a little bit now. I think he's like 33. Pau Torres, number 4. He's been linked with Man United heavily. So I know there's a player. The English media are saying it's an audition. If he plays well tomorrow, which let's hope he doesn't play well, Man United could potentially look at him. I don't know much about the left back. Number 14 is supposed to be a decent player. Trigoros, I think is how you pronounce it. You've got Dani Parejo, who's a very experienced La Liga midfielder, very good player for Valencia back in the day. Solid midfielder, very calm on the ball. And then you've got Capoue, who played for Watford before they got relegated. They sold him when they went to the Championship last season. Very good combative midfielder. Don't know much about Pino. And then you've got Bacca and Moreno, Gerard Moreno, who's their best player, in my opinion. Very talented player, good in the air, drifts out wide quite a lot. So that's something we're going to have to look out for, the ball in behind to him. And then you've got Carlos Bacca, who's just a goal scorer. He's a nuisance. He's a typical Colombian striker, will get all over the place like a wasp on summer, and he won't leave you alone when you're in possession, and he can finish if he gets a chance. So we've got to be careful, very careful of him.
I'm not really know about much more about Villarreal, but it looked to me it's like Atletico Madrid style, defensively, I think organized, and this is kind of team Manchester United suffer from.
Yes, you're right, mate. You're absolutely right. I'm going to try and shift you over a little bit because I feel like the light's really bright coming from my window, so I do apologise. Yeah, we do, mate. They set up. I watched both the Arsenal ties, and I felt like they were very strong defensively, very organised, and that's what you get with an Unai Emery team. Anybody that's watched his team, apart from when he was at Arsenal, funnily enough, he's always been a very good manager with regards to having his team well organised. He was obviously at Seville when they done really well in this tournament as well. So he's got previous, and I think he's won the Europa League twice. Don't quote me on that, but I think he's won it twice now. So he's been PSG manager. He's managed at the highest level, so he's a very good manager. I feel like he probably went to Arsenal at the wrong time, like Moyes with Ferguson. Very tough to go in an Arsenal job after Arsene Wenger. So I definitely feel like he's a very good manager, and he seems to have them really well organised defensively. And they do play a low block and play on the counter attack. They've got some really good wingers, Moy Gomez. They've got Chuck Weezy or something, I think his name is. He's a very talented winger as well. Although I don't know if he's going to be fit for the final. He didn't play the second leg against Arsenal. And they're going to try and catch us on the counter-attack, but that's our game. So we're going to have to then go on and influence our style of play on the game, maybe a little bit differently. But I feel like in recent weeks, we haven't picked up results, but we've been playing very decent football. And we've been creating chances. We just haven't been taking them. So I'm hoping the games against Fulham, the games against Leicester, the games against Liverpool, we miss chances, but we score them this time. That's what I'm hoping is going to happen. But if it does or not, I don't really know. But I'm hopeful we'll have too much for them. But like you said, they are defensively very good, and we do struggle. You're right with that.
Which better, this team 2017 with Mourinho, they play the Europe League final and win, or the team will play tomorrow with Solskjaer?
The team that will play tomorrow, I think. They've got some very good players in that team, but I think we've got a better team now.
Regardless the score or the result tomorrow, regardless, either we win or if we lose, Solskjaer, you want him to stay or go?
Yeah, I want him. I want him to stay. I can see what he's trying to do. I haven't always been his biggest fan, I'll be honest with you, but I suppose maybe that's just a little bit naivety from me to a certain extent. Sometimes I get a little bit annoyed, when we don't win games we should be winning. The form at home's not been great this year. I'm delighted the game's not at Old Trafford, to be honest, because Villarreal would win if that was the case. But we seem to be a very good away team. He's starting to make sensible moves in the transfer market. He's got a lot of the deadwood players out and the players that were probably being a little bit more of a hindrance to the team than the benefit, like Sanchez, Lukaku, although he's went on to have a fantastic season in Italy at Inter Milan. So I feel like we're 3 or 4 players away from being a title challenging team. And I don't think we're going to get them all in one window, I'll be honest with you. But if we go out and maybe buy a defensive midfielder and a right winger, if Solskjaer can get them, there's rumours that the Glazers are going to fork out a few quid in the summer because they're trying to get our fan base back on board, which they can spend £1 billion this summer and we still won't be on board because the bigger picture is getting them out of the club. But we definitely need to go to that next level now. We wasn't too far away this season, but the teams around us, the Leicesters, the Liverpools, the Chelseas, they're going to get better next season. So we've got to get better as well. And we limped to the finish line, to be honest with you, at the end of the season. But because of this game, this is everything for this season. This is a massive game for Solskjaer. Massive.
Very cool. Last question regarding Manchester United game tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is your first. This is your hero.
Yeah, Big Eddie. I'm hoping he's going to nod the winner tomorrow, and I'll be jumping around my living room.
hopefully we will get to contract you. Anyone you would like to get back from this photo?
Absolutely not. Where did you dig that up from?
I was doing some digging.
Absolutely not. Let's move on.
All right, very cool. Okay, so the Champions League. Okay, Champions League. It's gonna be Saturday. Between since you are you have good experience with coaching. What do you think? What do you think to see from Tuchel and Pep Guardiola, Jimmy?
It's a very tough one, mate, because I feel like Tuchel's a very sensible manager tactically, although Chelsea again not had a great season. Obviously started under Lampard, sacked him. One results weren't going their way, but they spent a lot of money. So with money and comes expectation, and this is something Ollie might have to deal with if they do go hard on the market. They hello Martin, mate. Hello there, Tom. Hope you're all right, buddy. I think when you go out into the market and you bring the players like Timo Werner, Havertz, Ziyech, who was a fantastic player in Europe for Ajax, it comes with expectation when you're signing Thiago Silvas of this world-class players. You've got to deliver, and I don't feel like Lampard did that. I did think he was maybe a bit harsh losing his job, but when you've got Abramovich, he doesn't take no prisoners at all. If you look at the managers he sacked in the past, all the Chelsea fans thought he was going to be loyal to Lampard, but he's not loyal to anybody if you're not winning trophies at Stamford Bridge. So he's brought Tuchel in. I've followed Tuchel's career very closely since he was at Hoffenheim. I really rate him as a manager. He's very much been molded in that Klopp type management, that gegenpress, very astute tactical manager. I think the president of PSG said that he was the best manager in the world at the time he was there. Then he sacked him, which I thought was quite interesting. But it's all about results. I mean, look at PSG this season, not doing very good. And he'll be under the same pressure next season at Stamford Bridge. But this is just a one-off game. Nobody's expecting Chelsea to win this game. But I have a sneaky got a chance. Because he beat Guardiola a couple of weeks ago. I know it doesn't really matter. In a one-off game, it doesn't mean nothing. But everyone in the whole planet, I think, is expecting Man City to win this trophy. And I'm praying that they don't, because we will never hear the last of it. I've just got over listening to the Liverpool fans win the league after 30 years. So if City win the Champions League for the first time in their history, then... but I feel like everything's in their favour. Aguero's last game. Kevin De Bruyne is playing great football. They're playing some fantastic football. So it's got all the makings... for City to do it, but I don't know. I have a sneaky feeling with Chelsea. I don't ask me why. I don't know why, because everything points to Man City winning this game. But Tuchel, tactically, can he get one over in a one-off game? If it was over 2 legs, I'd fancy City, but in a one-off game, I don't know. Maybe something nice can happen. And Chelsea can. I don't want any of them to win it, to be honest with you. I wish they could just cancel the game, وليد, because I don't like any of them. But if I had to pick one, of course, I'll have my Chelsea hat on Saturday.
Regarding tactics, it's been a statement from Guardiola. He's talking about Chelsea. He said something like they are making trouble for every teams. Very hard to stop. They are play with complex style. They are so close. The lines so close to each other. The lines, and they don't put some spaces for us for the teams. But he expects it's gonna be one game. It's gonna be different. Do you think, Jimmy? Do you think Guardiola learned from his past mistakes in Champions League, and it's different? It's different than playing in Premier League. It's he need to make it simple to play, not just complex with his tactics, etc., etc. Do you think he learned from his mistakes?
Yeah, I think so. I think they've knocked some really good teams out in the Champions League. I didn't think they would get past PSG. I thought they would come unstuck there. They didn't. So it's a case of they've got everything they need to win this game. They've got a fantastic team. They're playing great football, but it's like you say, sometimes it's just a little bit too complicated. And the one thing I've always said about Guardiola, and people might laugh at me, and if they do, that's fine, doesn't have a plan B. So when plan A doesn't work, Man City struggle. And we've beat them this season both times we've played them. They beat us in the cup, but they didn't beat us in the league. So it's a case of, if Ole can tactically outdo them, then Tuchel can, and they're not unbeatable. Like, they're a fantastic team, but they're not unbeatable. And in a game, anything can happen. But I totally agree with you, mate. I feel like if he just keeps them simple and lets them go and play the game they've been playing all year, they'll beat Chelsea comfortably. But Tuchel's very good tactically, and it just shows with what Guardiola said. He knows that Tuchel's a very good manager. All the Germans are very, very good coaches. They are very good tactically. They can switch formations in game very easily, which unfortunately Ole and Bruce can't do that. So we don't see that. But I'm very intrigued by the game as well. And my dad's coming up this weekend to Newcastle. I haven't seen him for a good year, so we're going to sit down and watch that. And I tell you, if Chelsea score, we'll be celebrating like it was a Man U goal. That's for sure. I'll tell you that.
All right. This is the expected lineup. Or no, sorry. This is the FA final. The FA semi-final. Last game, semi-final between Chelsea and Manchester City. What do you think? What do you think it's going to be changed? Let's start with Chelsea.
I think Mendy will play in goal. I don't think Hudson-Odoi will start the game. I think he'll go.
Jimmy, I think some internet issue will wait. It sometimes happen. Yeah, it was for me in the beginning. It's embarrassing, but not embarrassing anymore. I get used to it. Yeah, I think Jimmy, his net freeze maybe. Jimmy. All right, let's wait, Jimmy. We were talking about the lineup. This was the semi-final lineup between Chelsea and Manchester City. I don't think it was big. It's gonna be mixy. I don't expect Havertz to stay to play in the starting lineup. Pulisic and Mount, I don't think two of them. It's gonna be one of them. Jorginho as well. I don't know if he was gonna start, especially with a weird goal against Arsenal last time. I think Werner will be there in starting lineup, and Ziyech, the Moroccan player. For the defense, I think maybe just Zoma. I think he will be in the bench. Yeah, and pretty much it's gonna be it. For Manchester City, the weird thing about Guardiola that Raheem Sterling and Aguero, Jesus, they are not starting. There is no center forward. He just play either with Gundogan or Foden as a false nine. So Steve Bruce have false 10 and have false and false 10 and Pep Guardiola have false 9. Welcome back, Jimmy.
Sorry, mate. I think that was an issue with me.
So yeah, I was just and you were just taking some words. Okay, so we were talking about Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea. I think they'll. I don't know if Thiago Silva's fit, but I presume he'll probably slot in where Zuma is if he's fit. I feel like it's quite an attacking team for the fullbacks, but it worked, didn't it, in this game? So they beat them. They had pace and quality on the wings. Havertz in that false 9 position. I don't think he'll be starting there at the weekend. I think Timo Werner will be available, maybe Giroud. Maybe he might want to go a bit more direct. So I don't think this will be the lineup for Chelsea, but I do feel like it of structure, that 3-5-2, with them two holding midfielders. Kante, fantastic player. Jorginho, very, very good, very comfortable on the ball in tight areas. You're going to have to keep the ball against Man City. You don't want to keep giving them the ball. So it's when their big players have got to step up, mate. You know, the Havertzes, the Werners, who hasn't had a great season really. Time for them to come to the fore now, and this is like serious top level football. So it's the biggest prize in the game, but they're going to have to be immaculate with their game plan from start 1 to start 90. And if they can do that, and they can nullify Manchester City, they've got a great chance. But it's a hell of a task. So, but
for me,
they've got a chance.
Simply, and to make it simple, for me, I notice Chelsea once they concede a goal, they are over.
Yeah.
Manchester City, no, they believe that they can win even if they are concede a goal, but it's the final feeling, spirit. It's difficult when you concede the goal. Already your mind, background of your mind, you are thinking of losing. So this will put you on some pressure because they did not get used to the finals. It's first final in Europe. It's different than. But the good thing for Manchester City, they are playing with English team. They used to play with Chelsea, so there's no much surprises. And I think Pep Guardiola, if he learned one message from the previous game, I still remember Tottenham game with Pochettino, Liverpool game. They are starting at the beginning. They are attacking from the beginning, attacking Guardiola, and he lost it there. So I believe Guardiola. I expect the game. There is a late goal. but I think Guardiola will think differently and will try to score from the beginning. I believe so.
Yeah, I feel like it'll be a bit of a. I'm going to try and move this camera a bit for you because it's getting a little bit light. I can't really make out. There we go. Sorry, it's really bright where I sit, so I do apologise.
Okay. That's fine.
I feel like it's going to be a little bit like a boxing match. They're both going to try and work out where they can exploit each other, and it's like you say. I feel like Pep will have learned something from that. I don't think he's naive enough to go with that same team. And I feel like if it comes down to a shootout of pure quality, Manchester City will win comfortably. But as I said earlier, Tuchel is a very astute tactical manager, and I feel like it's such a massive game, one-off game for Chelsea, like they did in the FA Cup against a super team like Manchester City. They can get a win, but only time's going to tell, and it's such a tough scenario for them because they've got to be at their best for the whole game, and if they keep making stupid mistakes, they're going to get punished. Man City are probably the best team in Europe at the moment, but just like Andy Ruiz with Anthony Joshua a couple of months ago, not always the favourite wins. So there's always a chance, and just like in a boxing match, there's always a chance in a football game that someone might get a penalty decision, a Giroud header at the back post. You just never know with football, and it's exciting. It makes me even nervous for my final as well when I'm talking about stuff like this, because anything can happen. But I don't know why. I just feel like Chelsea have got a chance. I might look silly, and it might go wrong, and Man City might win. But mentally preparing myself for Manchester City to win, so I don't feel so bad if they actually win. You know, so I would be surprised if Chelsea won, mate, but I definitely wouldn't count them out. They've beat them once in the last couple of weeks as it is, so sometimes that can play in here and have a mental effect on the players. So who knows, but it's a massive game. What do you think? What's your take?
I believe Big City will win. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I think the whole world does, mate.
Right. Okay. So we have two big games coming up. We're excited to watch. It's for me, it's a very big game, best games of the season. Last topic we have tonight with you, Jammie, the signings. Who would you like to sign for Manchester United for next summer? I just give you a start, and I want to ask you, Harry Kane. Do you think? Everybody talking about he will play for Manchester City, but for me it's weird. Why, Harry Kane? Why you want to play with Manchester City? You want to just play 2 games and then we'll bench for life? I don't know.
I feel like if Harry Kane goes to Man City, we can just forget the Premier League next season because they're gonna win it. But I don't know. I feel like it is a deal Man United will have a look at. I feel like they've got a couple of players that Tottenham might be interested in, like Lingard, maybe Marshall, going in the opposite direction to take the price down because the Glazers love to save money. So if they can save money anyway. But I just feel like it's a deal that makes sense to them because they need to get the fans back on side. And stupidly, they probably think giving us Harry Kane's the answer. Little do they know, we don't care who they get. There's a big picture with it, but I feel like Kane has to move for his career, wants to win the top prizes and be that top elite striker. He needs to move from Tottenham. He's not going to win trophies at Tottenham. They're a good side, but they're nowhere near winning the league. They had the chance a couple of years ago in the Champions League final and they bottled it. So they are serial bottle jobs when it comes to the big time. So he ain't going to stay. I'm pretty sure the Glazers are going to look at it. Definitely. I don't know whether it will be feasible. He might have already had an agreement in place with Manchester City. Who knows? Football's a funny game sometimes. Transfers are made before they're in the public. Man City will definitely look at that deal. Chelsea have been rumoured. I can't see him going to Chelsea purely for the fact of the Tottenham link. So I think it's a 2-horse race unless PSG fancy throwing a couple of £100 million at Tottenham. Or Real Madrid or Barcelona want him. Economically, I don't think that deal can happen. They don't have the money. But I think he'll probably end up in the blue part of Manchester although I would like him at Man United, I'm not going to lie, but I feel like with Cavani getting a new deal, and we need players in other positions, hence why if it was my decision, I would let him go to City, although it makes me feel a bit uneasy saying that because it would make them better than they already are, and they're a fantastic team already. Man U have got to focus their transfer budget in other positions, so it would be a no from me from Harry Kane. But if we did sign him, I'm not going to be complaining, am I? You know, so I think that's where a lot of Man U fans are. They're like, if he comes, fantastic. If we'll support him, what a signing! Arguably one of the best strikers in the world. If we don't get him, well, maybe we just weren't supposed to have him at the time. He's the right player at the wrong time, because he's ready to go in and be the focal point of Man City's team, because their team's already built, and he'll just put on like the cherry on top of the little cake, whereas our cake's still being made. So we need to get to the point where we can go and get an elite striker one day. Maybe Haaland, who knows, one day.
Yeah, that's a good point you're saying there. So beside Keane, who يعني last a question for me, Jimmy. Beside Keane, who you want, or who you think maybe will join Manchester United this summer transfer window?
Well, from what I've been hearing, and it's just off of people that I'm in circle with, like yourself and the Matters guys, you all sort of talk Newcastle. I've got friends that are pretty close to the club. We're looking at a centre back. We're looking at bringing in a centre back. Ollie wants some cover for Wan-Bissaka at right back, apparently, so they're looking at a cheaper alternative at right back. I feel like we have a player at right back already, Ethan Laird, which a lot of fans that don't support Man U might not know about, but he's a fantastic young Welsh defender. His injury record's a little bit, so I don't know whether Ollie would put him in at this point. He might go into the market for that position, but Wan-Bissaka doesn't have a lot of confidence. So we need that kind of maybe Dalot's going to come back and he'll be the competition. I don't know. He's had a good season at AC Milan, so we'll see what happens with that. They'll either sell him or they'll give him an opportunity. But for me, the two positions we have to sign this summer is a right winger, because we've neglected the position for years, and we need a defensive midfielder. Like, that is an absolute must. And if it was up to me, I would go all out for Sancho on the right, which I've heard from good sources that they're very much looking at that deal, and Ollie he's his prime target, which he was last summer as well. So we don't know what's going to happen. But Dortmund are open to selling for around 80 million euros apparently. So I think United will definitely investigate that deal. Chelsea are apparently in for him as well as Liverpool. I don't think Liverpool will be able to afford him. We've got a good run at it with Chelsea. They've been linked with Hazard again today, which I thought was quite interesting. So I feel like Man U will look at that deal. But the one signing I would go for, Premier League proven, fantastic defensive midfielder, can play centre-back if needed, great on the ball, great in the tackle, can influence the game from a deep position. I would go all out for Declan Rice, and I would give them Lingard in the deal as well. That's my one. I would go all out for him, because I think indeed he's a great player at Leicester. He's probably a bit better than Declan Rice, but progressing the ball forward, indeed he's not a great passer in a deep lying position, whereas Rice is. And I feel like that's a deal that we could definitely do, because West Ham like the idea of keeping Lingard, and I would like to see Lingard stay at West Ham, because he's not Man United quality no more. He's doing fantastic, but I feel like his time's up at the club. And if we can put Lingard in that deal, potentially get Declan Rice for a little bit of a cheaper price, and he will allow us to play one defensive midfielder, because he's much better than McTominay, Fred and Matic. And then we can allow our two other centre midfielders to progress a bit more with the ball and play higher up the field. But that would be the number one signing for me, Declan Rice. And if there's a couple of pound coins left in the Glazers' pockets and they want to give us another player, we'll go for Sancho as well. But you never know with Man United, mate. We might not get none.
Hopefully it's going to be better summer window for your team, Jimmy. We would like to thank you for joining us. It was interesting talk, interesting topic. Hopefully we wish you good luck for your team tomorrow, and we wish bad luck for the team you didn't want you didn't want them to win on Saturday as well. And thank you very much for joining us. كان معنا جيمي ماكاي من مدينة نيوكاسل، قادم من مدينة مانشستر، مدرب فريق ريكنتون نو كامب للناشئين. Thank you, Jimmy.
Not a problem at all. Absolute pleasure. Good to see you again, mate. Take care.